Right. So, welcome to the Creator Show. My name is David, and I've been working with creators worldwide to help them monetize their knowledge. Today, we have Dana Watson joining us to talk about her experiences as a course creator. Dana is a licensed NCBTMB continuing education provider and is the founder of Relative Touch, which she started in 2014 and is currently serving clients in southern New Jersey and southeastern Pennsylvania as well. Dana, welcome to the show. And I don't know if I've introduced you completely, but if you do want to maybe share or introduce yourself, I'll be happy to go ahead.
Great. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm a licensed massage therapist for over a decade, and at some point decided that I should be creating some course content on on topics that I felt I could really help others to engage and learn. And I took my first endeavor to do an online course last year with you all and have expanded my reach of audience and look forward to expanding some more courses as well from my knowledge base. And it's been a great journey of learning for me and a really great journey of learning for those therapists that have taken the courses on your platform.
Uh, Thank you for that introduction, Dana. We're really pleased to have you on board today. Uh, while we talk about course creators and we talk about well, in your field for therapists, what made you take that plunge to become a course creator?
Well, I did have a knowledge base in particular areas of massage therapy that got me started in 2014
Right.
and created a live teaching course for hospice and dementia and elder massage. But I've been very involved in the laws that govern our profession here in New Jersey and have been attending board meetings for several years and really invested in understanding a lot of what guides our profession and felt that it was really necessary to sort of bring that information together so that it's not just written in a legal aspect or that kind of mumbo jumbo that you go on the website and you read, but really breaking down what does that mean to us as practitioners and professionals in this industry. And although I enjoy teaching live classes, it's an hour course and it's something that really could translate well into some written text and information, again, sort of breaking things down and sort of relaying them in a different way, which the platform gave me the ability to do. And in our profession, we do need to take a quiz and download a certificate and have proof that we have continued education in some regard. And in New Jersey, and specifically, it is mandated now that we take a 1 hour course in New Jersey massage laws. So I was spurred even more to really create the online entity because there are 8,000 plus massage therapists in the state of New Jersey that need to renew their license every 2 years. And so as a mandatory course, it was something everyone was going to need to access in some way, shape, or form more readily than I could run around the state and provide, live teaching experiences for everyone. So that's really what spurred me to sort of take the leap to an online entity and create a written version as well as doing a recorded version because I realized that everybody has their own way of learning, their own learning styles,
Right.
and try to accommodate sort of two different ways that I could put it out there and make it really easy to access online.
Correct. So you would say, obviously, the course creator journey, is obviously very unique for everyone. When you got into this, you created your first course. What was that like, for you?
Well, I am not a technical person, so it was very daunting to me. Just trying to research where I could do this, let alone how I could do this, was something that took me a little bit of time to kind of wrap my head around this world, because again, very different than teaching for massage therapists in a live setting or even on Zoom and being able to be present. How is I going to house this content in a way that could make sense, to lay it out, to be able to be accessible, easy to navigate. So once I really could there's a lot of players out there, and for someone like me in this profession, who is not a corporate entity, who is not a large school, who is not um, a national organization for massage therapists,
Right.
as a single entity who provides continuing education, many of the platforms out there are skewed toward those larger entities that offer many, many, many courses and are looking to house a whole bunch of things. So for me, as an individual provider of continuing education in this field, I really wanted to find something that was a little more um, attuned to my needs and wasn't so overwhelming to be able to begin this journey. And I felt that FreshLearn really had enough of the things that I needed to be able to get the information out there in a way that just made sense for the audience that I am serving in regard to putting the courses together. And I did have a lot of support along the way from the FreshLearn team. Always a shout out to Avi.
Yes.
Full name, yeah, full name Avinash. We became very good friends on Google Meets and Hangs and email. And he was very instrumental in assisting me in walking through some of the features so that I could really understand how I could put my content into the FreshLearn platform without so many stumbling blocks that, if quite frankly I had been left to my own vices to figure out to do, would have been a really harrowing experience for me. And I give him special kudos because I'm not a technical person. I'm a massage therapist. So, you know, and a teacher and educator, but the technical aspects really can be frustrating for people who don't generally take this kind of avenue for things that they do.
Right.
And so there was, I would get very frustrated, and always though he would jump online and we would meet, and it would be a really simple thing to fix. And his patience was just really stellar through the process and able to help me to connect my business and my email address and all of the things that identify me as a business owner, so that people were not confused that they were taking a course somewhere else, that they were taking it through my business. The messaging comes from my email address. So that direct connection that was able to happen through the platform was something that was very important to me. And then even though I didn't understand half the process, having someone literally walk me through how to connect Stripe and PayPal and just open this up, click this URL, this is where you put it, and to get all those bells and whistles functioning in a way that I would not have been able to understand on my own. I was really appreciative for that kind of support. And once everything was in place and up and running, every now and then, glitches happen. Sometimes they're on the user end. I don't know any better. I'm reaching out to you. But I was given some tools that I could streamline that process on my own. And for the most part, I must say that from the user end experience, it's been a really good one for my course through FreshLearn.
Awesome. So I think the goal of a platform like this would also be to evolve continuously, right? So let's say when you started using a platform like FreshLearn, you had Avi helping you out, hand holding, right, to kind of get you up to speed. Um, as I guess as technology evolves and as the product itself evolves, right? So we also, I guess, at some point we come up with guided tours, and we come up with like a DIY self-help, to help you where if you're stuck in any specific feature, right? So that is something I think that is usually the next logical step for any platform for its users, right? Because when you do get feedback saying, okay, when I started it was like this, but now with all of the self-help and guided tours, I think we can kind of do this on our own as well. So I think that ultimately would be the goal, to make it to pave the way or make it easier for any creator who's beginning their journey to be able to like such as yourself, right? You're an educator, right? At the same time, when you got into this and you had to kind of don multiple hats, right? You had to do the educator bit at the same time you had to become a creator as well, because right, it was not just only you know talking about your course, but it is also about getting that course ready for you to be able to kind of then put it out in the market. So I believe so. Yes, I think as for every platform, they would probably do that. Is the next logical step is make it as easy as possible for creators to be able to hey jump on board and say, you know what, creating a course, okay, here's step one, here's step two, I can follow this. It gets easier and easier, and then that's the ultimate goal, to make sure that tomorrow, as much as we are there to help, we want people to be able to kind of look at this and just follow the instructions easily and then be able to get that done. So
That's great to hear that there'll be some additional resources available, and certainly, I feel like I was here at the beginning,
correct.
as you're evolving. So, I may have had a little more hand holding than most people might get, but I'm excited to see, the information that you have put out there. I do intend to create some more courses, so I will certainly engage myself in that learning process, and I'm pretty equipped at figuring things out as long as I have the right data in front of me to guide me. So that's really good to hear
Absolutely.
that you're doing
Right.
that.
So yeah, it's feedback from you and some of our other users that actually helped us kind of evolve to the next step and help future creators that come on board to be able to kind of make the transition easy for them as well. So
Right.
thank you for your feedback that you constantly do give us. Now, speaking of being a single entrepreneur in this business, and obviously, like you said, there are so many other solopreneurs out there that are kind of doing this and competing. What would you say would be your biggest challenge or setback when you began this journey?
I mean, I think my biggest challenge or setback again is that um, I'm not a technical person. And so relying on the technology available to me is just challenging in and of itself. I am the person that my husband is an IT man, and so when Control Alt Delete or turning it off and turning it on again no longer works, um, I could get into a panic pretty easily. So I would think for a lot of educators, specifically in perhaps my field or many of the healing arts fields or fields that are not heavy with technological aspects to them from the start, that might be the biggest challenge, is wrapping your head around the aspects of being able to take all of your knowledge and information and output it somewhere that it's accessible online to anyone anywhere. So, the internet's amazing that we can do that. And I think that probably was the largest challenge. You know, like any industry, specifically providing continuing education credits for anyone, I'm bound by certain criteria that I need to meet from the credentialing body. In my case, the NCBTMB, the National Certification Board for Massage Therapy. So, also challenging being able to take those parameters and fit them into a model that is able to translate well from the learner end of things, I think might be challenging for those who are creative and are able to take their knowledge base and able to directly impart that to people. There is a challenge in taking that information and imparting that in a way where I'm not fully present anymore. And the content really needs to speak for itself and flow for itself, and be able to walk the learner through the process to, get to the end results, take a quiz, and be able to download and have everything they need in one space and place. So I think that was probably the largest challenge for me, was taking all of that content and finding a way to filter it down into a new way of presentation for people to
Right.
really be able to still enjoy the learning experience, which I do as part of my course with you. Um, again, had some guidance in being able to create a Google form to embed into the end of the course
Right.
and ask users to provide feedback as part of one of the necessary steps, just as the chapters would be for them,
Right.
so that I can continuously go back and improve not only the content,
Right.
but their feedback on that ability to utilize the course or follow information the way I do have it laid out in
Right.
such a different manner than I would in a classroom if I were fully present.
Right.
I look forward to going in there and kind of, for the first time, really kind of reworking that information and even utilizing the platform to more of its bigger ability,
Right.
with what you said, some guidance that's probably out there for me for easy self-help measures,
Right.
and being able to utilize any new upgrades and things that you might have that when I created this course maybe weren't there and available to me, but once I'm going back in there and paying attention of
Right.
reworking things, looking forward to, adding some additional things that might be available to me now.
Oh, wonderful. So, when you did mention, being a licensee provider, you have to kind of be able to get the right kind of content in there and to be able to go through all of that information, right? So, this would, when we talk about obviously being a licensee provider, it would entail your approach towards the process of learning and staying up to date with the industry trends and best practices, right? How frequently do you need to, keep updating yourself?
Well, with the ever-changing landscape of in my particular course, I am talking about the laws that govern our practice in the state of New Jersey specifically, again, for
Right.
8,000 plus massage therapists.
Right.
So it is, you know, we're licensed bodies of the state. And so this course that I created on massage laws specifically in our state
Mhm.
is something that we are mandated to now understand. And
Right.
although the law itself may not change, um, there is constant discussion and movement within our board of massage therapy in the state that um, governs those laws. So just like any law that's written, there's interpretation,
Correct.
right?
Right.
So it is necessary for me to continue to attend the board meetings as often as possible. They happen once a month on Zoom for us now instead of in person, to be able to hear the discussions when people ask questions about certain laws and be able to take what I have gleaned and understood as the board's interpretation and make sure that that is something that is implemented in the class.
Right.
Because although the law itself does get updated from time to time. I mean, this is a new mandate as of only last year.
Right.
So obviously there was a change. Now this is mandated. We all understand the laws, right? So it behooves me to pay attention to that process
Right.
and the interpretations that the board is relaying to us as licensed bodies, because just reading the information is not going to be enough. It's about that comprehension and understanding on the learner end, and also my knowledge base and making sure that I'm paying attention, so that I can relay that information to them in a timely and updated manner as things evolve, understanding of the law might evolve.
Got it. So yes, research very important, being updated. We've also spoken a lot about, well, we've spoken about your challenges that you've had, setbacks and challenges. Uh, what's it like? Let's talk a little bit about the good stuff as well. What's worked for you, in being an educator slash creator. How do you attribute success?
Well, I get a deposit every month from Stripe and PayPal that miraculously comes to my account, and I
Right.
go, "Oh, look at that! Look how many people have used my course this month! Hooray!"
There's the good stuff.
So that right. So
Right.
that's a wonderful thing to celebrate every month when I see
Right.
that little email that, "Hey, we're going to deposit all this money into your account again, Dana. Isn't that great?"
Right.
So the fact that once that initial period of time to get the creative content and information
Mhm.
plugged in and up and running. And I had some friends kind of go in there and use it, and I could tweak it and make it something that was really a viable source for people.
Right.
Once that was set,
Mhm.
then it works for itself.
Right.
There, aside again from updating some of the content in relation to new things I understand or learn about my course or the content in the course, aside from those few moments where someone's having an issue, which by the way is usually a user ends something, and you know not everybody can help everybody on their end, right?
Mm.
For the technical aspects. But overall, everyone's had an easy time, signing up for the course, getting their email to create their account. It's the nature of the world we live in. Every platform that's the way it is, right? We create an account.
Right.
Um, and they've been able to access the course, take the quiz, download a certificate, and provide that feedback to me,
Right.
in a really timely manner. So the fact that once the course is up there, it really works for itself. I'm reaping the benefits of that, and I'm able to go in and update things as I need or as I feel are warranted. Is something that I think is a really enjoyable aspect of doing them online,
Right.
and not always having to schedule my time to teach that course,
Right.
because it's able to teach itself.
Right. Wonderful. So okay, so we speak about some of the good stuff, right? Now there are a lot of creators or early educators, right? When I say early educators, people who've actually recently gotten to become continuing education providers as well, such as yourself. Now, what advice would you have for aspiring creators such as yourself? Or what kind of pitfalls should they avoid?
Well, you mean as far as NCBTMB and massage therapy instructors
Right,
specifically?
right, yeah,
Okay.
we talk about that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as my industry,
Mm.
um, we're kind of really bound when we're individuals in the field of massage therapy that are educators.
Right,
Once we're approved providers, through this governing body, NCBTMB, we're able to create the course content based on our expertise and experience. And the biggest thing I can say is to be really sure in regard to putting that online that there's an understanding of the parameters that must be met by that governing body, NCBTMB,
right,
as far as how many words count toward a credit
right,
in written content, or the expectations of being a pre-recorded webinar or video, and what that means in relation to continuing education credits for massage therapists. Each state has its own governing body for massage therapy and
mhm,
requires so many to be live and only so many can be online. And again, there are certain parameters that we need to meet to satisfy those aspects of what we're putting out there. So I think the biggest advice is to make sure that what you are creating for online content, written content, or pre-recorded videos, that you are using the NCBTMB guidelines and understanding exactly what they are, because the process of submitting it and waiting for them to approve and
mhm,
come back just to tell you that you don't have enough thousands of words or hundreds of words or something, and redo it and try again, can be a really lengthy process if you
right,
don't do it right from the start.
right. And then when you do it the first time, you have all of that, that enthusiasm that you kind of put into it. But then when you have to redo it, you start
Right.
losing out on that enthusiasm as well, right? And then you just want to kind of get it done at that point,
Right.
right?
You're like, why didn't you tell me that from the
All
start?
right,
Or why didn't I ask that from the start?
right,
So I think that's the most important thing, is to know the parameters you're working in
right,
before you put it up online or put the content out there to understand what the guidelines are
Right.
for that content that you are about to create,
Right.
for specifically online learning, because that is a very specific something for us in continuing education credits,
Right.
depending on where we live.
Right.
You know, so I think that's probably the most important thing as a creator of content, is to understand the guidelines that are given to me to satisfy the legal aspects that I need to do.
Got it. So yes, that does make sense. You don't want to comment because if you have to redo it again and again, you end up compromising on quality, right? So, and that kind of then later on hampers on your course and what's out there. So, absolutely, that makes sense. Uh, uh, we've heard the pitfalls. What about the future? What does the future look like for online educators and certified trainers and creators alike?
Well, we live in a very flashy media world.
Mhm.
Um, I I would, it's as much as I think most of us in my industry and perhaps others enjoy learning things, when there is no interaction with the person back and forth that is providing the education, it's really important to have very engaging content, or that it is written in a way that is engaging the person so that it's not just some static information on the page,
Right.
and that it's broken up in a way that there's an understanding of some pieces of the big picture, so that the big, the full puzzle, if you will, of information is able to be grasped little by little.
Right.
Because again, I think our attention span, we've been really trained to like be in short spurts. And I would love to see, an ability to add some uh, media to even the written content, and pictures that support um, what is being relayed as far as information, because again, I think it's just another engaging factor that we're really used to, and have an expectation for in any environment, and particularly in a learning environment, might be a little more engaging to use a few more of those media aspects aside from just the written words. I
Got
think
it.
that would be important to me moving forward, to find new ways of using new technology to continue to be engaging.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I think we've gone through quite a few questions, and I do want to thank you for this chat. It was great. I think our viewers also will find this very useful. And yes, I do personally want to thank you for being able to come on the Creator Show and be a part of this.
I really appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the opportunity to let everyone know that I think your company is stellar, and the information and the feedback that I do receive as a creator when I do need that support has been readily available to me. And again, as a non-technical person, I super appreciate that, more than some of you may know. And I have wonderful feedback from the folks who have taken my course, and
Yeah,
telling me that it is easy to navigate and easy to use, and that they enjoyed the layout of the content as well.
yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Yep, you got it.
Uh,